This is Jeju, a tropical volcanic island with its own unique character. Jeju in it.
Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Thank you for all the congrats. I really do appreciate that. I don't know what was going on with my replies yesterday, but I tried to reply to everybody, I promise. How is everybody? Give a couple of shout outs. Anime Lover, Aisha, Junior, Rocky V, Aunties, Nene, Vet. I appreciate you and your support. Nadia, Curtis, Barbara, Kimberly, Angela, Candy West, Christina, Ronell, Miss Hot Pink, Tamika, Marcia, Roberta. Thank you, Keisha Boo. Hey, Miss Lady Dixon. Michelle Davis, how you doing? Dipped in Chocolate, Miss Diva, Progress, I'm sorry. April, thank you. Nakia, Latrice. Before I start the chat, I just wanted to share something with y'all that just touched me. It really deeply bothered me. And that was the main reason I wanted to come on and do a little chat tonight, is to just put everybody's attention back on the main objective, which is justice for R. Kelly. I know some of y'all visit other people's channel and y'all see the turmoil. So I just want to show you some of these people's reaction to that.
It never used to be like this. I mean, like last year, I've already said that before. It was never like this. And, I mean, you'd expect it from like Tasha K or Goddess Dawn or whatever it is that you call her. But the people it's actually meant to, still low. But the people it's actually meant to be for Robert, I'm just not feeling that at all just now. And I think I'm really going to take a back seat for a while. As I say, I haven't been that very well either. And just this back to and throwing back and forth. It is, I mean, I've said it before, at the end of the day, it's not us that's in jail. And if we're here, to represent Robert and fight for his justice to get out of that hellhole that he's in, and I do think that there is things that's getting said on the internet which maybe shouldn't be getting said. And a prime example, even with the bloggers and things, when you're getting like the calls and stuff in, if it's going to be messy or, shouting and bawling or, whatever, cut them off. This, to me, it's like TMZ and CNN and CBS. These are all the things. These people, that's all that they're wanting. They want it, just one little thing that can, go against Robert, and it's just I can't do it anymore. So I think I'm going to take another little break again, away from it all. As I say, my health isn't, I mean, honestly, the other night, I think it was it last night or the night before, can't really remember, but God, I thought I was taking a panic attack. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't, and with all this that's going on, and it's honestly, it's just too much. It's definitely like too much for me, and I've heard some of the callers that's been on. Sorry, I hope you can hear me okay. But I've heard some of the callers that's been on, and they're raging. That honestly, they're so mad with what's going on, and I mean, if you have things that's going on, and if you're doing things, I mean, that was a great thing the other night, and I know that I think Kim was one of them that done that a long time ago. Kim from, I don't know, is it New York or something? I'm not really sure where Kim's from, but she's been a supporter from day one, and writing to the judges, and I did that. I've wrote to some of the Congress people, which haven't replied back. But this is because I'm in Scotland. I'm just I can't really just pick up the phone because everything's that expensive now. But at the end of the day, there was like a letter that Keisha had put out, and that someone, Nikki, I think her name was, and it was another template to send to like the lawyers, and I'm going to try and do the Supreme Court again, but things are that tough through here, and being not well and stuff. I mean, it's quite hard. But what I will say is, just maybe take a step back. God, look at my hair. Oh, Christ. Because it's getting too much. Oh my God. Jesus God. I mean, Robert is in there, and maybe it's time just to, to let due process take its course. Let the lawyers do some of this. I did see, I don't know if he was at court today, but I did see the lawyer Limeberger, or whatever his name is, saying that they're going to try and get him released. So maybe it's just time, just to take a step back, and let the lawyers do their job. If you have anything that you are of specific people that you are talking about, even if it's in the indictments, and things like that, I mean, be wary of what you say, because at the end of the day, if it was my brother, if that R. Kelly was my brother, I think I would be raging. Absolutely. Honestly, I would be so hurt that what I'm seeing at the moment. If Robert even seen half of what's been going on, and I've been watching like everything over month, and it's just getting so to the state where it's unbelievable what's going on. And whether people are sort of saying that they're making money out of it, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and yes, fine. People have been selling books. People have been doing this, and and I've even bought books, and I've bought from people, and gave money and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's Robert who's in jail, and he's been in there for I don't know how long, and I can't take it anymore. I definitely can't take it, and I love everybody. I'm not gonna even say all the names because I forget people, and but I loved every single one of yous and what yous brought to the table. But I'm not even going to mention any names anymore, because I'm so sick and tired of the bullshit that's going on. I'm sorry for my French, but I am. And this is just that I'm really, really hurt, and I'm really angry about what's going on. I just it's just gone too far now. And as I say, tagging people into different things. I mean, it can't go on. I mean, the feds are watching, every single person. I mean, this is one of the highest, profile cases that I've known in all my life, which is I got $1 billion, as on his head, apart from Epstein, of course. I mean, that's a huge one. That's huge. That's even got the royals and, Andrew, and, I mean, the Queen must be going off her head at the moment, not knowing what to do. But, I mean, they're tarnished now. who's going to believe the royals, you know? So at the end of the day, I just want everybody, you know, just, in my opinion, just to take a step back, just to claw back everything again, start again, and maybe stay on your own platforms, you know. I'm not going to be doing as much on certain ones because I am fed up. Honest to God, I'm fed up. The bullshit. I'm fed up. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I get so upset. I get so upset with everything. We're here to help. And it's just terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna go. The last thing that I've got to say is I'm sorry. The last thing that I've got to say is that was great news about Prima Donna. She's going to have a baby, so congratulations, Prima Donna. See, you still can make babies out of R. Kelly's music. Anyway, I'm going to go because I've had enough. Okay, bye.
So I just had to share that because I'm just watching everybody do so much. And I'm just trying to figure out what is the purpose. What is the purpose? It makes no sense. It makes me feel like I'm just wasting my time because people feel like that. Don't nobody want no parts in this case when this is what they fucking see. And they take us as a joke when we sit here and we campaign for this man. Meanwhile, this is what is on display. I'm going to play this other song while I get myself together. Because that just really affected me. Oh, thank you, Nakia, Latrice, the super chat. I just saw that. Oh, I'm so late. I'm sorry. I'm trying to gather myself because, again, trying not to get too emotional, but all this stuff, it just really, really takes a toll on people's emotions. But Nakia, I think that's who asked. I'm not sure. My Cash App, Madonna ENT, and while we're on that topic, because I always hear these people keep talking about how YouTubers just do this for monetization. They just do that for money. To be honest, let me just be honest with y'all in these super chats. This is just a way, in my opinion, YouTube is just pimping the creators, because personally, I don't see anything from being monetized or my super chats, because at some point they're going to find a way to deplete from it. And let me just show you. At one point, it said it was at like 300. It was at like 300. Okay, it was at like 328. But as you can see, it says 4081. So YouTube just be pimping. So I appreciate everybody that sends to my Cash App, which is again primadonnaent. All the support is greatly appreciated. But I'm still gonna keep trying to motivate myself to just keep staying on task, which is what I just wish everybody would do. Because if you just break down these facts, you will begin to see all the stuff that's going on online is irrelevant. Irrelevant. But let's just talk about the music industry. I'm going to just let this play. Let y'all hear how these people do, these artists in the industry. And then we're going to go into everything that was going on in 2015 with R. Kelly, all the bad management he had going on, and shady business. Then we're going to go back to all these alleged victims, since I see people want to throw out specific people like Montina Woods. Interesting person to throw up. Or Tiffany Hawkins, the girl that wanted to be like Aaliyah but fell short. Let's see these artists tell you out of their mouth what happens when you sign a music contract.
And now more straight talk from Straight Talk.
What's that?
I sold this guy a wireless contract he doesn't need, and now he's stuck with me for 2 years.
Don't put up with that. With Straight Talk Wireless, get our unlimited plan for just $45 a month, no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
I love music. I hate the industry. It's an entirely shitty situation. I'm all on the fucking radio. These motherfuckers love me. Why the fuck am I broke? You know what I mean? That's how you felt. Like, God damn.
That's the fee you pay to get in the game.
Wow. So this piece of paper really holds this much power.
They just spend these kids, man. People get fucked over all the time.
Where do you learn it?
There's no school for hip hop.
You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of Bad Boy, why I wanted to be a hitman. So Puff was like, I want to sign you to a publisher thing, I want to do this, I want to manage you. And I was like, this is, like, Puff wants to do this for me? And I'm thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. If I sign all this stuff, that means he gets paid from everything I do. And even if I produce with him, it's like he's getting paid twice. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I remember we were like in the studio and I screamed at him. It was the first time I screamed at him. I was like, how am I supposed to get any money? And he was like, all right then. It wasn't like, it was no beef, but then it was like, all right, so you want to go to this party afterwards. So at that moment, I realized the difference between friends and business. He never stopped being my friend because I didn't sign those papers, but like, shit, if you're going to let me do it, I'm going to try. I never told him. I appreciate you for that, you know, because that was like one of the best learning experiences I've ever had in the music industry.
We're about to sign our recording contract. Over here we got all the crystal, we about to pop.
They have fucking clauses in these shitty contracts that say, we're only gonna pay you 15%. In that 15%, the label's charging you for every fucking thing that takes place.
Yeah, you see, we getting D-Dog's joint down there now. Crew.
The artist has to pay everybody, the producers, the songwriters.
Every dime they spend, they're either gonna charge you half or 100%.
So most of us, including myself, had no clue what the fuck that meant.
All these motherfuckers with the shitty paperwork, your money's gotta go through all them.
Damn, we only getting 12 cents off a dollar? And out of my 12, I gotta pay you, and you?
What the fuck?
Damn, can you at least put some Vaseline on it? Can we have some wine and cheese before? God damn, like, what's happening here?
You
have a lot of kids coming from these inner cities that never even seen $10,000 cash before. So if you have a person that's coming to you like, here's 20,000, sign to me, I'm gonna put your album out. They're not looking at no legal team or like, let me call my lawyer and make sure that this deal is right. You're taking the 20,000, you're gonna sign the contract, and you're gonna figure it out later on when the money's gone.
So the first thing people started talking about with R. Kelly and these settlements and his bad contracts is, how did he sign these bad contracts and whatnot and whatnot? Well, it's common practice in the industry. That's what they do. And if you hadn't realized, some try to take people they feel like they can trust. And we all know what happens when you think you can trust people and large sums of money starts to come into play.
It's too much coming at them too fast. A lot of people just are so thirsty for a platform that they sell themselves short. You just see a big label and you're like, they wouldn't do me wrong. Where do you learn it? There's no school for hip hop.
You know, I definitely some bad contracts in my past, some still pending. Bound by a piece of paper, it make you just think like, wow, do this piece of paper really hold this much power?
You dangled like this fucking career in my face and like, yeah, I want to do it. Of course I'm not reading this shit. Like, not say like it's the smart thing to do, but you're young. But at the same time, you're a grown man. You know how to read, too. You chose not to read that country. So I don't get when people say, like, oh, don't sound such and they be fucking it. Like, hell, I ain't fucking about that. You had it. You could have read it. You chose not to read it. Look at the fact that they put these 2 big stacks of money up here next to the contract. This is all you gonna ever get. You ain't look at the contract.
You have the frustrated artist who wakes up one day and realizes that I'm all over the fucking radio. These motherfuckers love me. Why the fucking mouth broke? And then explain to you, like, paragraph 64, clause B says, you don't get shit.
Is that not a common thing you hear from these artists? They're everywhere. They're promoting all these big name brands. But what do they really have?
When you're an artist, you gotta make hot records. That's what your job is to do. If you're not making hot records, we have to move on. It's nothing personal, it's business. Even as an executive, if I'm not putting out hit records or if I'm not signing hot artists, they're gonna be like, I think we could find somebody else to fill your position. Everybody at the label could get fired, just like the artist could get dropped.
You go to war with your label, and the label war is probably like one of the major contributions to failed careers.
At the end of the day, I'm trying to take care of my family too, just like you are. So we'll make sure life's better than mine.
You start arguing with these executives, and they just fucking turn the switch off on your ass. Don't like you anymore. First thing you're gonna say is, well, let me go. They don't do that shit.
Well, obviously, all the cash money we seen go through this. Tyga claims that Birdman owes him like $12 million. You know, hey Birdman, you robbed me, so I'm going to put it on a loud speakerphone and tell everybody that you robbed me, and everybody else that comes to you is going to be very careful about how you know, they do those contracts.
If anybody be taking stuff personal and
So I'm going to pause right there. And I'm going to come back to Aaliyah and this certificate, since somebody wants to push this issue and keep talking like this certificate is proof of marriage. But anywho, in 95, that's when Demetrius Smith gets fired, right? That's when this marriage certificate emerges. Barry Hankerson had his hand in it as well. I believe it was all blackmail. But I found this old video from 98 in which R. Kelly is telling about Demetrius stealing from him. But let Demetrius tell it, remember? He never stole anything from R. Kelly.
Breakfast catering and Royal Cup coffee. The perfect pairing. Jack's all about the South.
I had an album deal and we were going to the studio to do an album. I was like searching. I was like, man, I got... And, but I happened to have a music class. At that point in time, I think I was about 16, 17. I was not interested in music. I was really trying to be the next Michael Jordan, of course. And she told me that I would sing, you know, I would be the next Stevie Wonder or superstar, Michael Jackson or something like that. And I laughed at her like she was crazy. You know, I couldn't see it. And everything I am today, she could see it. My mother could see it. And she would tell me that I was going to be where I'm at today and even further. So, and it just happened. She put me in a talent show, and I did the talent show, and the girls were screaming and everything. And I was like, man, I don't get this kind of love on the court, you know. And of course, I'm going to choose that over basketball, and I did, and I've been doing it ever since.
So what would you say that was your big break, or was there a stage a little further down the line that was the significant break for your music?
I would say my big break is that point in time I learned that Stevie Wonder riff. That was one of the steps, because I felt like, man, if I learned that, I could learn anything, because that guy was going pretty fast. But as far as crowd-wise and what nailed it, I would say my first talent show pretty much is what bit me in a way. Like Peter Parker got bit by the spider and became Spider-Man. You know, that was the bite for me. You know, when the women and everybody was showing me so much love at the talent show, and I won, and I was like, wow, it was overwhelming.
Can you relive that fear and energy that you had the first time you went on stage and had to actually compete to try and win, you know, like a talent competition? Because that must be just, for a young guy, a really awesome experience.
Well, I had my eyes closed through the whole thing, so I just heard everything. The idea is, she put me in these black glasses and had a friend of mine walk me out on the stage like I was Stevie Wonder, and she had me sing "Ribbon in the Sky." And as soon as I started singing, the crowd started cheering and screaming, and all I can remember is ending it. And when I ended it, people were standing up, they told me, because I kept my eyes closed until he walked me back off the stage. The best way to act blind is to close your eyes. So that's what I did.
Did you do that when you got signed to Jive? What happened there? Was that a song or some demos that you did, or?
Yeah, management. Actually, I had got into some situation with management that I was with before I even got signed with Jive, and I had a manager skip out of town with some money that we had won, you know, from a talent show, and there was a lot of trouble with that. And the day I broke up with him was actually the day I was bumming a transfer trying to get a bus to get home. And I was walking down 79th, and I walked past the Regal Theater, and it said a gospel play was going on. And I went in there, and I asked the guy, I said, yo, man, any more auditions going on? He said, no, we just closed it up, man. I said, man, give me a chance, man. Let me do something. I'm on my last dime here, you know. And they were like, well, that's it, man. So I started singing anyway. And I sang a song, Amazing Grace, and they introduced me to Barry Hankerson. I sang to Barry Hankerson, and he offered to put me in the play. And I said, you know, that's great. And so as time went on, come to find out, he wanted me to, I told him that I could write. I didn't want to do the play. I want to write and do my own album. So once I showed him a couple of songs on the piano and a couple of demos, he's like, my God, you write, you can write. You know, let's take you to Jive Records, and that's what we did.
Do you want to sip your coffee?
I'm good.
You cool? Okay. Takes me to Born Into the...
So contrary to what Demetrius has been on everybody's platform trying to put out, he never stole. He could do no wrong in his eyes. He may have did this and that, but to him, R. Kelly is the demon. Never mind, he has or had 2 children by minor women. Just an example of how shady things were going around this.
How many concert goers at the Monroe?
Around this, let's see. This was 2013. So at this point, somebody was pretending to be R. Kelly doing concerts.
The Civic Center last night, we're expecting to hear R. Kelly in concert. They tell our Jeremy Pierre that not only was it not a concert, but are now questioning the entire performance.
Fans from across the South bought tickets for last night's event at the Monroe Civic Center. Flyers called it a birthday extravaganza, but ticket holders expected something else.
Advertisement online through Ticketmaster said that it was a Sid's all-black affair. R. Kelly performing live, which did not happen last night.
This concert goer, who chooses to remain anonymous, says that it was not a concert like she expected. She and others on Facebook are now questioning the performance.
It was an impersonator on stage impersonating R. Kelly that may have sung every bit of 4 minutes, not even a complete 5, and he did not even sing. He lip sung.
She sent us this footage from the concert and is asking for a refund.
We was scammed because 10 o'clock we were there, no R. Kelly. 11 o'clock, no R. Kelly.
Looks kind of familiar. And I do distinctly remember on a Vlad interview, they were talking about how R. Kelly had doubles. Is it quite possible some of these people in his entourage were doing these type of underhanded things behind his back?
12 o'clock, no R. Kelly. 12:45, no R. Kelly. 1 o'clock, here comes an impersonator.
She saw the same performer in a restaurant early this morning.
When you tried to approach him for pictures, the 2 guys that was with him also stated no pictures. Put your devices away, no pictures. They blocked from taking pictures. It just was not right.
We reached out to the party's promoter, Cedric Johnson, who told KNOE that he will be giving refunds. He also says, quote, "I'm sorry, I got duped." We asked if the performer was in fact R. Kelly, and he declined to comment. In Monroe, Jeremy Pierre, KNOE 8 News.
Now, we received calls, emails, and Facebook messages about last night's event, all from people that bought tickets believing it was a concert.
Moving into 2015. I know there was this one particular concert
on camera.
R. Kelly said he wasn't paid for, and I believe was sued because the promoters said they distinctly remember giving the payment to his management. So if R. Kelly never received payment, that would be a problem with management. Yet, that's what happened. What was this? 4/26/2015.
Fans at the R. Kelly concert went wild in Tolleson last night, but that wasn't necessarily a good thing. The R&B singer, known for his platinum hit, I Believe I Can Fly, was to perform at Soulfest last night in the West Valley, but word came very late R. Kelly would not be performing. Some fans did not take that news well. A violent reaction as some R. Kelly fans realized at Veterans Memorial Park in Tolleson Saturday night that the singer was not going to perform.
Everybody just started grabbing chairs, throwing them up on the stage. People on Facebook blaming me for orchestrating what the crowd did. Like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. It's them janky promoters.
James Douglas recorded the video on his phone and can be heard yelling himself. He says many people were so upset because they paid in cash and feared they would not get their money back. This fan was also at the concert. He says promoters waited until 10 p.m. to tell the crowd Kelly wasn't going to perform. Many had waited hours to see the Grammy-winning R&B artist.
They had been waiting for 6 hours, basically from 4 till 10 o'clock.
How much money was the ticket?
$60 for general, $120 for VIP. So people were very upset.
Last night, Kelly posted this video to YouTube saying he was in the valley ready to go on stage, but was not going to be singing.
But I just got bad news that my management and them told me that they did not give me my money. I haven't gotten no money for doing this show, and they told me they had the money, so when I got here, the money wasn't here. So it's not nothing personal against my fans. This is business, y'all, and I hope y'all understand.
So what if management pocketed that money? and had R. Kelly looking like the fool.
R. Kelly did apologize in that same video. He said he would return to Arizona to perform, but he just couldn't this time because he didn't get paid. Soulfest has said that people looking for a refund can email them for details. We have that link on our website, fox10phoenix.com.
So let's go into this 2015 birthday bash. Because we all know it was some interesting people spotted at this birthday bash, including Love and Hip Hop cast, Dixon, Love and Hip Hop. She looked mighty damn happy. 2015. We already know who that was, Asante. So you got all these people starting to flock around 2015. Drea, Asante. You got, that's when Azrael and Joycelyn come into the picture. Is this all coincidence? All this is playing out like this?
gift swap with some other YouTubers. I'm going to be putting together.
Last video I did mentioned Kitty and how she portrayed to the public she was such this victim that she had no problem being on stage. That's about as far as she got. But let's go back to the management. Because people want to keep holding on to Aaliyah, for example. My thing is this. If this marriage really happened as they proclaimed, why was it necessary to come out with a fake document? Answer that question. You got all these fairy tale stories from these thieves and con artists. But let's talk about it. If a marriage existed, why was it necessary to submit fake documents to the public? To the left, this is President Obama's marriage certificate. So go right ahead and try to debunk it, because you can look it up for yourself on the internet. And then go on and look at this certificate of marriage of Aaliyah's. Completely off. And not only that, they had multiple versions come out. And why? Tiffany Hawkins, the same chick that wanted to be Aaliyah, but didn't have the talent. I don't even know who picture that was Lifetime put up, but they wrong for that bullshit. We supposed to take anything serious coming from any of these people pushing their narratives when they only tell half the stories. Like how Tracy Sampson, Patrice Jones, and Montina Woods all came surrounding this sex tape scandal. I feel like it was all part of the plot. We get these women to come out and accuse him of these heinous acts, and he will settle, or somebody on his behalf will. When it comes to Aaliyah, we already knew the point in bringing her name back out, because Barry Hankerson wants to release her music now that he's been sitting on. I find it very comical so many people are saying R. Kelly signed over his publishing rights to Aaliyah's mom. How does that even make sense when Aaliyah's mom is not even in control of her own estate? Barry Hankerson is. Make it make sense. The same people that presented this little 15-year-old girl to you with these breast implants, with this belly button piercing, and now with all these tattoos, want to paint this one-sided narrative of how young 15 is. But let's go to this one actor in particular, if you remember him from the Steve Harvey show, Merlin Santana. You know what happened to him? He was set up by a 15-year-old girl. Some people used that 15-year-old girl to lure him out, and they murdered him. So to act like 15 is just so young, I think we might need to check that. But not saying that that's justification, because I personally don't believe R. Kelly is into any underage girls. I feel like that is the narrative being put out there to make people hesitant to support him. The first thing, people look at you crazy when you say you support R. Kelly, because it's like you're saying you support him dating underage girls. Well, that's no. Nobody ever said that. More people need to look into these news stations that are brainwashing them. They sat there and told you R. Kelly is brainwashing these girls, when in fact they are the ones brainwashing you. All these stations are ran by a handful of people. Just think about that. People keep asking, why don't Aaliyah's mother address the rumors? How many times do you people want her to address the lies? You can, for yourself, go back and pull back all the videos in which Aaliyah put out through her interviews denying the rumors. Yet that was never good enough. She's put out many statements saying the woman who was featured in the docuseries was lying. And she's never met or seen the woman. It should have been a hint back in 2016 that Barry Hankerson was plotting up something when he let Drake use some of Aaliyah's music. Every artist that came from Blackground Records came out in the same category with nothing. Can you walk away from Barry Hankerson? I think not. It was Barry Hankerson who handed over or mailed this sex tape to Derogatis. Same person who leaked this certificate to Vibe. You can go back and look at my video on Barry Hankerson to look at the type of person he is. But let's just go back. 2015. This time period, he was telling everybody, if you don't hear it from me, don't believe it. In so many words, I feel like that was addressing all those fake concerts and whoever could have been impersonating him and things like that. As far as the sex tape, Let's talk about it. Then I'll come back to 2015. Let's talk about the sex tape first.
A key witness who allegedly appears in 3 sex tapes with R. Kelly is now cooperating with investigators in the musician's sex crimes case. Kelly pleaded not guilty in court yesterday. He was denied release on bond. Adriana Diaz is outside the correctional center in Chicago. That's where Kelly is being held right now. Adriana, so how is this witness cooperating exactly?
Good morning, Gail. Well, she testified under oath, identifying R. Kelly as the man sexually abusing her in 3 videos, 2 of which were not used as evidence in his 2008 trial. Kelly was acquitted in
I want y'all to just keep note of what she just said. 3 tapes is what she just mentioned. 2 of which were not used in the first trial. Okay? Then you got Michael Avenatti coming talking about he got 3 tapes. Interesting. But he was so ready to debunk Gloria Allred's 4th tape. Interesting.
2008, after that same witness, who was 14 at the time of the alleged crimes, did not take the stand. Now, she and at least 11 others are cooperating with prosecutors. We were in the courtroom yesterday when Kelly pleaded not guilty to new federal charges that he made sex tapes with minors, conspired with associates to cover them up, and paid hush money. Prosecutors repeatedly called him a danger to society. To try to get bond, Kelly's lawyers argued he has no current contact with minors, is not a flight risk because he turned over his passport, and has, quote, no criminal record. His crisis manager says they will appeal the judge's decision to deny bond. Meanwhile, Kelly is being held here in federal prison, which has slits for windows. He's in isolation in a special unit reserved for high-risk inmates. He also faces federal charges in New York and could have to appear in person there. His next court appearance here in Chicago is set for early September. Anthony?
Adriana.
Now, first off, we already know Avenatti has ties with the she-devil that was already at the beginning. So I side-eyed this information. But then I started thinking, Geronda Pace has said some very disturbing things on her page. And then I got this comment the other day. And they were trying to tell me that the girl in the sex tape was Geronda Pace. So I'm sitting here thinking, is it possible that they got Geronda Pace to perjure herself in a testimony stating she was on these tapes? Because Rashonda Landfair is not going to cooperate and lie. It just makes you think. I've seen multiple posts insinuating Geronda Pace is the girl on the sex tape. And it just had me like, how in the hell can you conclude this? If the sex tape was done between 98 and 2000, Geronda Pace didn't meet him and start a relationship to 2009. How would that even be possible? Here's the post. If you ever wondered who the R. Kelly tape girl was, her name, Geronda Pace. That's that bullshit. They keep putting out all this misinformation. As much as you want to sit back and let this play out in court, you have to call attention to certain things because stuff is not adding up. Stuff is not adding up. And they got the wrong dummy talking. She want to keep justifying lying. But this the thing. How can the courts say, well, hey, we can't take into consideration this mistake of age defense? But this individual went to his court proceedings got into there by presenting a fake ID to the court officials, are they not accountable for allowing this so-called minor to view child porn when you can go back and view the multiple articles stating 18-year-old Geronda Johnson? Look it up, Geronda Johnson. Then you have these people so eager to break the news, mentioning the fact that she broke a non-disclosure in order to speak out to the public. Why? Why? Because somebody has convinced her that she can pursue criminal charges now to negate the fact that she signed a alleged non-disclosure. And who's to say who that non-disclosure was with, considering she's on record saying she had a relationship with Bubba.
So, yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob. Okay. So, yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob. Okay. So, yes, I did have.
How are we supposed to take these witnesses serious? I feel like all these witnesses, accusers, need to be investigated because their stories are not adding up. And should they be telling false stories, they should be held accountable. Why? Let's talk about it. Because back in this 2015, 2016, 2017 period, they were activating this Mute R. Kelly. Now, with that being said, to start mobilizing these protests to shut down his concerts, so to start using the media to manipulate the public in order to fool the public in thinking his concerts were shut down when actuality they weren't. During this time period, R. Kelly had to come on his social media platforms multiple times just to solidify the fact that his concerts were still going to proceed, because you had people like the Mute R. Kelly bums feeding the media that they were being shut down.
Messages to my fans. Every fucking 5 minutes I will do it, but I don't know why people saying I'm canceling shows. I am not canceling the show in Ontario. I will be there performing, and I'm just trying to unconfuse my fans. And for whoever else want to come see my show, man, you're more than welcome. Gonna have a great time, a really great time. All right, one, love y'all, peace.
Commissioners instructed the county attorney to send a letter to the
Group of women armed with petitions asked Fulton County leaders today to cancel an R&B concert featuring R. Kelly. New at 5, Channel 2's Wendy Corona is live in the newsroom. And Wendy, these women want the show stopped because of accusations made against Kelly.
That's right, accusations from one family saying the singer was keeping women against their will. Now, within the past hour, I learned
So Mute R. Kelly got the news people involved, pushing this narrative. R. Kelly's holding people against their will. Keep that mental note.
Commissioners instructed the county attorney to send a letter to the concert promoter, Live Nation, to cancel R. Kelly's concert.
We are enraged
A collective group of women known as Mute R. Kelly are trying to do just that. In front of Fulton County Commissioners, Kenyette Barnes asked the commission to pull the plug on R. Kelly's August 25th concert at Wolf Creek Amphitheater.
This is not about censorship. This is not about disliking his music.
It is in fact about the claims by one family that the R&B singer is holding young women against their will. Mute R. Kelly wants Atlanta to follow the lead of at least 3 other cities who have canceled his concerts. They've cited low ticket sales.
Anecdotally, the low ticket sales are due to public outrage because people just don't want to pay money to come and see a man who is consistently being accused of such horrific behaviors.
Fulton County has a contract in place with Live Nation to book some.
If they really felt like that, why was it necessary to do this whole Mute R. Kelly campaign? If they felt like people genuinely were not going to show up to his concerts because they didn't want to support him, why was it necessary for them to keep pushing the Mute R. Kelly agenda?
Concerts at Wolf Creek, and with this concert or any other,
our preliminary analysis is we don't have any legal basis to stop it.
While Fulton County Commission Chairman John Eves was receptive, he did acknowledge they do not want to have it appear to be artistic censorship.
I'm still looking at additional ways in case there is a way to stop it.
For Mute R. Kelly, allowing the concert to happen is being complicit with the alleged crime.
It also sends a message to survivors.
So now she telling people, if y'all keep supporting R. Kelly, if y'all keep listening to R. Kelly, y'all are complicit to his crimes. Never mind, he has not been convicted of any crimes.
Survivors of sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, child pornography, that your elected officials don't care.
So police tell us they looked into the claims against R. Kelly and found no reason to investigate any further. Live in the newsroom, Wendy Corona, Channel 2 Action.
Y'all heard it. They investigated it and found no reason to investigate any further until we got more media behind this surviving R. Kelly, huh? Somebody mentioned
another art privately, adding there's no denying his impact on me.
Margaret said, we never said she couldn't leave. She can leave.
Margaret said, we never said she couldn't leave. She can leave. Margaret said, we never said she couldn't leave. She.
Here. And Chicago police tell us they were here at 10 o'clock today acting on a tip that was originally called into the state's attorney's office from out of state, saying that 2 women were here with the singer and that they were being held against their will. Police were able to speak to the singer and to each of the women. Both of the women said that they were okay and that they weren't in any danger. All of this on a day when the city moves a step closer to gaining access to R. Kelly's Westtown recording studio. Social media shows it was another night of clubbing in Chicago for R. Kelly, all while the city worked to gain entry into the singer's now infamous Westtown recording studio.
There is no truth to the specious allegations regarding that property.
The attorney for the building's tenants is referring to the docuseries.
I don't know who just shut me off, but y'all wrong for that. I've been sitting here this whole time thinking y'all was watching. Then I started looking like, what the? This some bullshit.
Surviving R. Kelly, charging the location is the home of a sex cult where women say they've been abused and held against their will by the singer.
Who's responsible for the premise?
Who's paying your salary?
Sam Sims, however, wouldn't identify his client.
Will you answer
Have
this
a great
question?
weekend, everybody.
Will you guarantee us
Thank
you
you
answer
so
those
much.
questions?
R. Kelly, have a great weekend, guys. Thank you so much.
If it's being used improperly or wasn't converted properly, it's not safe for the occupants.
Since Wednesday, city inspectors have been trying to gain entry into the building following a 311 call claiming people were living in the commercial warehouse, a violation of safety codes. So far, they've only made an exterior evaluation.
A couple of windows have been bricked up that were existing windows prior.
The city's request in court for a special order to enter was granted today. They'll return there with a strategic inspection team next Wednesday.
I believe I can fly.
R. Kelly has called the Chicago area home for years. Sources say he's currently living at the ritzy Trump Tower along the Chicago River. But workers near the Westtown studio say until recently, they've always seen ample evidence of his presence.
He had all his cars in here, his three-wheelers and stuff like that. You knew when he was out of town because all the cars would be gone. And then you know when he's back because, hard to find parking.
R. Kelly's personal attorney has told us that the charges against his client are absurd. And again, city inspectors will be gaining access to the recording studio on Wednesday. And hopefully on that day, it will shed some light on the charges that encircle the singer. Reporting live from Trump Tower, I'm Vince Girasoli, CBS 2 News. Because sources tell us that the singer R. Kelly lives.
So it's crazy. I'm also looking at all these people say, Joycelyn needs to come out. They need to do this. They need to do that. Like, you don't know what these people are going through. And or if R. Kelly has told them what to or what not to do. But the savages want to take such offense when people are saying that they are behind that Patreon account. It looks mighty funny. Again, some of the stuff they put out is being said. And multiple people have also pointed out it's mighty funny. Some of the things that are being said is mighty funny to a lot of other stories coming from someone such as Geronda Pace.
The first day of school, I met Lena McGlynn.
Wow.
And I didn't ask for a music class. I didn't know what classes I would get. I just went to the next level, went to school.
Right.
And, but my first class was 126 in Kenwood Academy. Music class. Made me sing a song in front of the class.
That very first day?
Yeah, she told me to, come here, and she started making me sing, You Are So Beautiful. And she told me to just repeat after her, and I would.
Right.
And from the first note, kids was starting to mumble between each other, like in a good way.
Yeah.
And then she told me to hit a run, and then I hit a run. And of course, if you know how to run a little bit in high school when you're singing, all the girls and everybody gonna go up. So, and that's what happened. And then she made me do a talent show. She put on a talent show, and I told her, there's no way I'm finna go out there in front of all these people. So she said, put on some dark glasses. You're gonna act like you blind. You're gonna do Ribbon in the Sky by Stevie Wonder. And Charles Craig was a pianist at the time there. He's gonna play. And I had a friend of mine walk me out as if I was blind, and I got to hitting Stevie Wonder. And out of nowhere, girls and everybody went up. And I just remembered that I had never gotten that feeling on the basketball court.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I didn't know if somebody was standing behind me. Was it a fire drill? What's going on? These people screaming. I was like, I ain't never got this feeling on no basketball court. So I decided that day, my spirit, my soul, my DNA, everything switched. And life as I knew it was never the same again. Thanks to Miss McDonald. I got up enough money to, but even before that, I ended up hitchhiking to LA at some point.
Okay.
And I got to LA, and then I lived on Venice Beach.
Were you still a teenager?
No, about 19, something like that.
Yeah.
Lived on Venice Beach. I mean, the sand part.
Yes.
And as a street performer, I would sleep up under the bleachers, and then I would get from under the bleachers in the day and play basketball, and then, but every day I was keeping in touch with Miss McGlynn. Every other day I would call her.
You were still in touch with her.
Wow. And she started telling me and teaching me about the depth of struggle and how it determines the height of your success, and how you're gonna go through some things. You're in the mountains right now, and you gotta
Y'all drop some free R. Kellys. Drop some free R. Kellys.
You say, you're in the mountains right now, and you have to struggle. And the struggle is going to build character. It's going to make you strong. Right. She used to tell me, get ready, because this is nothing compared to what you're going to go through once you reach the top of the mountain. Wow. So, well, there's one thing about Miss McGlynn that makes her the greatest human being, on the planet of the earth, is that she don't complain. Yeah. She really never asked me to do nothing. She was just telling me how these people, man, they trying to get me out of here in the building, and my apartment, standing out there, and the lawyers and everything, and then, and it would be a conversation piece. It wouldn't be a, oh man, it's going down like that. Oh, what you want me to do? I got you. Right. But then I started finding out about it, people, so I started hearing about it. So then I called her, because I became concerned, and she started telling me, yes, that's what it is. I said, man, Mama, you should have told me, you should have, she said she didn't want to bother me. She know I'm dealing with a whole lot of stuff. I started crying because I couldn't believe that. I got really just like, man, I said, you made me, I'm your son. I'm like, my duty is to be there for you, just like you've been there for me in any way I can. So, well, like any son to a mother, no son can bear the thought of his mother being put out of anything, and I'm no different, I'm just as human as that, and when I heard it, like I say, I would go through, as my uncle used to say, hell with gasoline draws on before I let that happen. I got you.
It's the final days of Black Friday.
So if you go to this indictment, it's strange you see individual B, individual C, which brings us to this Keith and Chuck. If you haven't watched the video I did on them, I tried to put all this in a playlist, which would be easy to go back to and just see everybody individually as I get to the facts. But it's mighty funny they will bring these people in the indictment, and everything surrounding what they did in the first trial spells out extortion. This reporter points out he was even tipped off and was led to believe he would be getting a interview from this Keith and Chuck about this sex tape, but it never happened. He felt like it was a shakedown, which is what it was. You got all these people that are not being talked about. Sony Black, according to Van Allen's testimony, she grabbed the video of her first threesome with Rashona from Kelly's duffel bag when he left it on sidelines of the basketball court at Hoops. She grabbed the tape while the bag was on the sidelines while he was at basketball. Okay. He carried it everywhere with him. Wherever he was at, the bag would follow. I just didn't want that tape out there. She further explained to me years later. In March 2007, she told Kelly she'd taken the tape. So all these years after the fact, she want to admit that she done slipped this tape. How did she... This make my head hurt. Because every time you read it, it's something different. Didn't she say she was in a hotel and she was popping in other tapes and shit? What the fuck is this shit? That's what I'm saying. Ain't none of these people credible that they wanted to give the platform. Lisa Van Allen, Asante McGee, Kitty Jones. None of these women they gave a public platform are freaking credible. And then you got the fact, like I was saying about 2015, it's a whole lot of questionable people in Kelly's background, but nobody wants to talk about them. You can see Cash, she was in some video with these women, but moving forward, she's had those videos removed. So what can you say? How do you know if those videos were taken out of context if you yourself didn't see the full video? We have Haley Calhoun, who has come out publicly saying nothing bad about R. Kelly, despite any rumors or gossip that was put out there. You got all these people that were in his camp doing sneaky ass shit behind his back. So when you talk about these accusations, far as I'm concerned, they come from scorned employees putting these girls up to that. Even like this Cheryl Mack. It's mighty funny she had no problems up until she got fired. All these managers that come afterwards, are they really managers? If you've been following it, there's a page, R. Kelly Saga Facts, which was detailing tips from an alleged employee from R. Kelly's camp. So when we watch the friction that's going on with the bloggers and everything else, you can imagine what was going on in R. Kelly's camp. Clearly, people were playing both sides and looking out only for themselves. It's funny when they talk of enablers, then people want to start talking. Just an update. Somebody put out that Kelly has a court appearance, which he's been waived the next two. And one's December 9th, the other is December 27th, which he will appear for the decision to dismiss the child pornography. all this time period, okay, that's 2014. Moving from this point is 2015 when he posts this jacket, right? And we went through in another video I did all these different people. So 2015 is the same time period that Azriel and Joycelyn came into the picture. 2015 is the same time period in which we see alleged accusers in the same vicinity, Drea, Asante. Then we have Lisa Van Allen tagging Drea in parties, same time frame. August 2015. Remember the Love and Hip Hop characters that was at the party? Alright, you have another Love and Hip Hop character liking his photo, along with Bubba, aka Ruby Chris. So you got all these people that were around in this time frame of this sex trafficking. But the same point I brung in last time was, how is this man sex trafficking considering all the touring he was doing at that time frame? Not to mention, as I pointed out earlier in the video, the scamming that was going on, whether R. Kelly was receiving the money or not. He canceled shows saying that he didn't receive money. Then you had people impersonating him. It's just ridiculous. So again, all this time and all these same faces we see were around. The main one I wanted to point out was when he himself posted, "I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it didn't come from me, if it didn't come from here, it didn't come from me. Cool? You heard it here first." So I said all that to say, as far as that time frame, 2015, that was a key turning a point from all these accusations reemerging. Geronda Pace. Then you had the Savages linking up with Jim Derogatis, all feeding off this same narrative. So fast forward, you got the sister saying, "We never said they were hostages." Oh, yes you did. All these uproars, all this has led to where it's at because y'all told the public your family member is being held captive as a sex slave. From that, we have sex trafficking indictments. Who's going to be held accountable for these false reports and false allegations? 2017 was when his house was robbed. Yet, this same time frame, he was holding women captive. The Savages have a press conference in which Asante can't tell you the other address, looking like a bum. Meanwhile, there's nothing in these houses. Then you got the Savages always trying to backpedal out of what they originally said. Like, let's take this Mason case. If this ain't something to cause need for an investigation, I don't know what. But how is it possible that the Savages claim Don Russell threatened him? Don Russell threatened him. This guy. Same guy that made the dumbass remarks about the sex tape. Yet, if you don't recall, the Mason was arrested and charged. So how did we go from Mason? How did we go from Don Russell to Mason? What is Don Russell's major role? Is a question. Because I'm sure some of you saw that same daily report about R. Kelly being funneled millions. Maybe it's in my other phone. Timothy stated him and his wife were involved with Lifetime documentary Surviving R. Kelly, which airs today, January 3rd, 2019. Their involvement with the documentary is why they are receiving threats from Don. Don texts Timothy at approximately 0500 from phone number, telling him it would be best for him and his family if the documentary doesn't air. Yet who got the blame for that? R. Kelly. This Surviving Lies Facebook page. Who was behind that? Don Russell. Who got the blame for it? R. Kelly. The more you look into this case, the more you will see it's very well more possible the actions of the entourage than R. Kelly. As pointed out in another video I did, there is a big issue with pedophilia in Hollywood, in the music industry even. However, I'm going to repeat this. What we say is very clear. Everything surrounding this R. Kelly case does not add up. From the network that ran with this bullshit, whose owner has his own sex trafficking and pedophilia rings and all this shit going on with Disney. All these same people linked up with these people. Even Russell Simmons, who dated Kimora when she was 17. Y'all have to look at the fact that something is not right. And all we are pointing out is everyone deserves a fair trial. But how is this going to be possible for R. Kelly to receive a fair trial, considering for the last few decades, the media, driven by Jim Derogatis, has been led to publicly assassinate R. Kelly in the public eyes. Everybody has been allowed to profit off of saying the most scandalous stories and putting it out to the public as truth, formulating everybody's opinion on R. Kelly. All these so-called accusers have been single-handedly picked apart. And I would like to see all of them on the witness stand testifying under oath to the allegations that they've made. They don't add up. If you ask me, half these women weren't even dating R. Kelly. They're going to have to show me concrete proof at this particular point. Geronda Pace especially. I'm questioning everything with her at this point. She's already accused Drea Kelly of trying to steal money from her. Nobody's talking about that. Nope. They want to talk about enablers. Maybe it was more convenient for some of these girls to be safe as a victim than to be labeled an enabler, when in fact, as pointed out with Kitty Jones, for example, she's been spotted picking up women herself. So is she part of the sex trafficking? What's going on with that? At the end of the day, we stand for justice. And sitting here saying, well, he should have learned the first trial, he should have did this, that is not justice. We're going to punish a person because they have a forgiving heart and want to give people chances. We want to condemn this man based on these docuseries with no burden of proof. How is that justice? At some point, they're going to be able to use this case as reference. And considering all the laws they've bended in order to get this man indicted, just imagine what faith a person like you and me have at the end of the day. If they can do this in the public eyes, they can have lawyers who are extorting celebrities publicly. They can have all these corrupt politicians and prosecutors being bought off by these rich billionaires who are really behind a lot of the sex trafficking, if you want to be honest. Just makes no sense. I feel like a lot of the friction is purposely to turn R. Kelly supporters against one another. I personally don't subscribe to the bullshit. But when I see the effect it has on people who are genuinely trying to research the facts and are trying to stick to the facts is very annoying and counterproductive. One thing I asked a while ago, they want to keep going back and forth. These girls didn't have a phone. They were held against their will. They have to keep pushing this narrative to justify the fact that they willingly chose to stay with this man. And now that it's become beneficial, they want to tell whatever story benefits them. But all I'm saying is, before we convict a man, before we stand idle and be silent and not speak and be heard and say, hey, somebody got to research this. Somebody got to research these people. Because this is not right. How do you have George Soros, who financed the Black Lives Matters movement, also financing Kim Fox? Why is it time's up for R. Kelly, but okay for certain other individuals? America better wake up. What is fraud? It is a type of crime defined as abuse of position, false representation, or prejudicing someone's right for personal gain. In other words, fraud is an act of deception intended for personal gain or to cause a loss to another party. Is that what we are not witnessing with R. Kelly? Fraud. From the articles we've read, the news outlets, and go figure, the news outlets, the people that are supposed to be so credible, run with the fakest news possible. What does that say? As far as the politicians, we already know they have their hands in shedding lights on who they want. We see how this is quietly gone under the radar with this DJ Pope. I may have seen one news posting about that. But at the end of the day, all these people are connected with the same agenda. And I just feel like all the supporters should just stay focused on putting together these pieces. It's so much to be said between 2015, which I said has got to be a key turning point for R. Kelly. It's too much out here between 2015 and 2017 to be sitting here entertaining the bullshit that's going on today. If you put any of these women on the stand, who is going to be credible? If Lisa Van Allen wasn't back then, why would she now? Andrea talking about she never saw the tape, that is just idiotic. No woman in their right mind is going to hear their spouses in the tape and not fucking watch it. Sparkle, we already know she's been caught in lie after lie after lie. She can't even admit that she was fired. And yet all these people are profiting. The definition of fraud. But my phone is about to die. Let me get on up out of here. I just wanted to put this video out here just to give you all that are researching the facts a little more motivation to keep researching the facts. Because despite what you hear, despite what you keep seeing, you have to remember this is a spiritual war at the end of the day. We're not sitting here trying to be his defense. We're just trying to spread awareness to what's going wrong with this case. I feel like everybody should just stay focused on presenting that instead of going back and forth, or sometimes it's necessary to work by yourself. Sugar and Spice said it best. Everybody's not meant to get along. But nobody deserves to be disrespected on this internet. We're all pushing the same goals. I keep hearing the same thing over and over. Change the narrative. Change the narrative. Not feed the negative bullshit. With that being said, again, I have a bad habit of not watching the comments, just be talking. But I'm going to do another video since this live was cut off and summarized 2015 in my eyes. I appreciate everybody's support. Thank you, Texas Black Diamond. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate all the congratulations, all the love. That is truly a blessing to me. I appreciate everything everybody does. I support everybody. Just putting that out there. I might not comment on people's stuff, and that's just because, again, like Sugar and Spice say, you never know whose stuff you can comment on without offending the next. But at the end of the day, I'm here to support R. Kelly. And if you are, just drop a heart on your way out. I'm going to play a little song on the way out. And I hope you all have a great night. Actually, this is my favorite song. This is one of my favorite songs. Alright, y'all have a great night. Much love, much love.